Recorded live at 4ZZZ Studios Brisbane on 102.1 FM.
And broadcast across Australia on the Community Radio Network.
You're listening to Z Games.
With 10 years experience and over 500 episodes,
Z Games brings you the best in gaming news, reviews, community and culture.
Want to reach out? Message us on Facebook at ZEDGamesAU.
Hello, you're listening to Z Games. My name is Ezie. I'm hanging out in studio with
Elliott
and Toby.
Yo!
Hanging out cheek to cheek, three in the studio for the first time in a while.
Yeah,
exciting.
Yep.
It has been a while since there's been three of us in here. Mm-hmm. It's nice.
Thank God.
Yeah. Nice to have some diversified voices. Lots of different sounds happening.
Oh.
Lots of different gaming things to discuss tonight.
Yeah, running shoulders.
Yeah, well, we've got a big order of stuff ahead. We've got the week in gaming news brought to us by Zara. We also have a big news segment on Activision, Blizzard, and the lawsuit situation. So if you want to get all caught up on what's exactly happened and happening, we'll be doing that. After that, it will be Elliott's first time review.
Yeah.
Ghosts of Tsushima.
Yeah, exciting.
Yeah, director's cut too, right?
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
Yes.
Tsushima. Yeah. I always feel like I say it wrong.
It's a tongue twister.
It's fine.
Yeah, it is a little bit. So jam-packed episode this evening. So much, in fact, that I think we should just dive straight into the gaming news. So...
No.
Go on. What were you going to say?
Absolutely nothing. I was just teasing you.
Oh, wow. And that's a good start. Let's
go to the news.
Let's go to the news.
This week in gaming news, Roblox is getting voice chat. The popular online play space will be introducing voice chat as a feature. Roblox is an online game platform and game creation system, where players can create games and environments and then play and interact in those spaces, making it a popular online hangout. Voice chat is on the way, starting with a spatial voice for developers, to test the concept of realistic conversations within the game, mimicking the way that voices carry in the real world. There are concerns on how these conversations can be moderated, especially considering that a large portion of Roblox players are minors. As a result, voice chat will have a slow rollout, with initial access only being available to 5,000 developers. It has been suggested that voice chat may never be made available to those under 13, depending on how each stage of the rollout progresses. In addition, Roblox will let users self-report issues, flagging problematic players which may result in losing speaking privileges. You will be able to upgrade Horizon Forbidden West to the PS5, but there's a cost. With many people unable to get their hands on the PS5, it has been a relief to know that many PS4 games will include a free PS5 upgrade when players are able to get the next-gen console. So many fans were disappointed when Sony initially announced that Horizon Forbidden West wouldn't include this upgrade. Thankfully, Sony has retracted this decision, and people who buy a copy of Horizon Forbidden West for the PS4 will be able to receive a free upgrade, allowing them to play it on the PS5. However, Sony has confirmed that from this point onwards, all PS4 games, both digital and physical, will come with a $13 Australian upgrade fee for the PS5 version of that same game. This will include games such as Gran Turismo 7 and the next God of War. Tripwire Interactive CEO steps down after backlash. Tripwire Interactive CEO John Gibson is stepping down following backlash against his tweet supporting the recent Texas restrictive abortion laws, which allowed citizens to sue anyone who aids the procedure. His comments disregarded the values of our whole team, our partners, and much of a broader community. Our leadership team at Tripwire are deeply sorry and are unified in our commitment to take swift action and foster a more positive environment, says Tripwire representatives. Current Vice President, Alan Wilson, will take over as interim CEO. Alan has worked with the company since its formation in 2005 and takes an active lead in Tripwire's business and development. There are intentions to address concerns within and outside the company, starting with a company-wide meeting to promote open dialogue. And now for some upcoming game releases. September 9th brings The Artful Escape for the PC and Xbox One, Terrain of Magical Expertise for the PC, and Local Game Webbed for the PC. September 10, A Day Without Me for the PS4 and Xbox One, Kraken Academy for the PC, Life is Strange True Colors for the PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, Xbox One, Switch and Stadia, Lost in Random for the PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch, NBA 2K22 for the PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, Xbox One, PS4 and Switch, Tales of Arise for the PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4 and Xbox One, and WarioWare Get It Together for the Switch. September 14th, Honey, I Joined a Cult for the PC. September 15th, Age of Darkness, Final Stand for the PC, Fire Commander for the PC, Merrick's Market for the PC, PS4, Xbox One, Stadia, Story of Seasons, Pioneers of Olive Town for the PC, Timberborn for the PC, and Titan Chaser for the PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, and Xbox One. That's it this week in gaming news.
Thank you so much, Zara, for the week in gaming news. There are so many games to be excited for. Diablo 2 is in like 2 weeks as well. The Resurrected.
Terrifying. Like, I don't know how time went by so quick, man.
There's so many. Like, I think Ellie and I were calculating, weren't we?
Yeah,
exactly how many games.
Like $800 worth of games between now and January. Like.
It's like there's like Pokemon Arceus, Pearl and Diamond, and then there's like Far Cry, Elden Ring. Oh my God. Horizon Forbidden West is like February, but still like within like a
Elden
short...
Ring is in January. I'm keen for that.
Yeah. Oh.
Your sights are way too far ahead of you for me.
Life is Strange True Colors, which is tomorrow, which I'm very excited about. Yeah.
I'm actually really excited for, this is a weird one, Ty the Tasmanian Tiger, a remake on the Switch.
Oh, yeah.
The physical release is coming out very soon, and I loved that when I was a kid. Super keen.
What about you, Toby? Anything interesting?
I'm short-sighted with my games. I'm WarioWare.
That's still good.
Yeah.
Relevant.
I must admit, anything with a cult theme, I kind of have a thing for. So the Honey, I Joined a Cult is in my field of vision. What was the other one? There was another one that I saw that was a cult one that turned up on our list the other day. Oh, my brain. Anyway, doesn't matter. But WarioWare definitely.
That's not ringing any bells. There's just too many games. Specifically, Horizon Forbidden West. So it would appear that if we're getting free upgrades from PS4 to PS5 for the game, I don't really see the point in buying a PS5 version of the game.
Yeah.
If you can get a free upgrade.
Extra.
So, yeah, for any of you lucky people out there with PS5s, of course. For everyone else, I mean, that's good news. It means, you don't
have to pay extra when you eventually get an upgrade.
Yeah, they're being considerate, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, my name is Ezie. I'm hanging out in studio with...
Elliott.
Toby.
Yo.
Hey.
We're talking all things video games, gaming culture, news, reviews, all that sort of stuff. That's what we do here on Z Games. And tonight was a bit of a... This is a sort of news-focused catch-up session on what's been happening with Activision Blizzard and a lawsuit that came about on July 20th. And pretty much every day since that lawsuit, there has been constant updates and sort of progress in what's happening around the lawsuit, essentially. So this segment, I'm going to sort of go through a little bit about what's happened, and then we'll have a chat about what we think might happen and what sort of that means for the industry. So on July 20th, California Department of Fair Employment and Housing files a lawsuit against Activision Blizzard, alleging discrimination and sexual harassment against women in the workplace. The following day, the news breaks that the lawsuit has been filed, and in a statement to PC Gamer, an Activision Blizzard spokesperson has said something along the lines of distorted and in many cases false descriptions of Blizzard's past. That sort of led into the following day, President J. Allen Brack emails staff to say that this behaviour is completely unacceptable and, deeply disturbing, and the company take this seriously. After that, the following day again, on July 23rd, Activision Blizzard's Chief Compliance Officer, Fran Townsend, sends a very different message to staff, calling the lawsuit a depiction of Activision Blizzard distorted and completely untrue, which that sort of doesn't go down well, ultimately. Co-founder and former president Mike Moheim publishes his thoughts, saying that he wanted to acknowledge the women and who had awful experiences. I hear you, I believe you, and I'm so sorry to have let you down. The same day, on July 23rd, a video from BlizzCon 2010 goes viral on Twitter. During a World of Warcraft panel Q&A, a woman asks about the possibility of less sexualized female characters. The panelists, including our now President J. Allen Brack, laugh and make jokes in response. Following after that, on July 26th, there's a meeting that's hosted internally to 500 staff. Executive Joshua Tarb reportedly attempts to sort of address that there's zero tolerance for this kind of behaviour in relation to the lawsuit. And on the same day, more than 100 current former Activision Blizzard employees sign an open letter to management calling...
It was 1,000.
1,000. Good. Caught me out there. Over 1,000 current and former Activision employees signed an open letter saying that it's abhorrent and what Townsend had said was abhorrent and insulting to the company, and that, essentially action needs to be made. They also made a series of demands and that they plan on walking out. So then the walkout was on the 28th of July, and also ultimately it ended up being 3,000 employees signing that letter, which in total there's 9,500 Activision and Blizzard employees, which is basically 1/3 of their staff. On August 1st, Activision Blizzard executive Fran Townsend causes more controversy by tweeting an article titled "The Problem with Whistleblowing," and then later blocking employees on Twitter. There was a series of higher-ups that have stepped down throughout this process, including J. Allen Brack leaves his position on the 3rd of August. Following that, there's lots of stories coming forward from former employees of the company sharing their experiences and other claims and things and such towards other people within the company. There's also currently, where we're at now, is that Activision Blizzard have decided to rename McCree in Overwatch after a former employee at the company who has had some accusations made about him. So, all in all, there's been a lot happening, a lot of movement. There's been people saying one thing, and it's all pointing fingers at this point. But mostly, what this whole situation sort of highlights is obviously there's been a culture within the industry as well. Like Ubisoft had a lot of issues last year. There's also been Riot had issues with this as well. I'm sort of thinking about what sort of is the future of the gaming industry with all this coming to light. We talk a lot about having equality and changing the culture within workplaces in the industry, and it seems to me that we're still going through the same patterns of hashtag Me Too movement. So yeah, what do you think this is going to do, Elliot? Do you think that this will ultimately change awareness for the industry? Or?
I have a lot of hope, and yeah, it definitely is going to increase awareness. Like this is some of the biggest news in gaming in a long time. A lot of casual gamers are even aware of it.
Yeah.
So I
think it's made mainstream media, which is
it's a huge thing, and I think it's definitely going to increase awareness. And I have hope that it will bring change, but there's been a lot of things like this before, and there's been a lot of big news, and not a lot of change has come of it. So
yeah, hopefully this is something that stirs the pot as well.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
I know that a lot of people have also bailed on playing anything Activision Blizzard related because of the nature of this situation.
No, absolutely.
I don't know, Toby. What do you think?
I think it's a excuse me. When you have an industry that is so ingrained in, honestly, my experience as a white male, I'm a cis white male for anybody who is listening. I hear a lot of negative connotations towards anybody outside of that bracket.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't get it directed at me, but I hear it a lot.
Yeah.
Especially in the more toxic and more competitive industries. And the research that I see coming out of different businesses is more about how can we advertise to get women playing rather than how can we make this a more diverse, more welcoming environment.
Yeah.
I mean, a big part of with the demands that these employees made, also they sort of say, one of them was a company-wide diversity, equity, and inclusion task force empowered to hire a third-party company to audit Activision Blizzard. So there was an issue as well throughout this process where, they were worried that that Activision would hire their own internal, agency to sort of, and that's not great. What they wanted is, they need someone outside of the company to come in and actually, go through the whole process. But also having I know that there was an amazing thing to do with, I'm pretty sure it was Ubisoft. They have a whole head of diversity and equality and making, and that's also led and run by a woman. Some of the positive outcomes as well so far has been Jen O'Neill, who used to be one of the higher ups for Vicarious Visions. So Tony Hawk Pro Skater, for anyone who's who made that? So she's taking over as a quite high role now, which is awesome. So, I'm hoping that ultimately we see some positive change moving forward. It's still early days, but there's, I hope that's been more or less informative for everyone on what's actually been happening. And because I know that every day I kept hearing things and I'm oh my gosh, this is another bombshell and we don't know what's really going on. But hopefully all this brings to light positive and lasting change, not just for within Blizzard, but, sets an example for other games companies as well.
Yeah. And for everybody listening, fight for it.
Stand up, say something.
Stand up and
it's
say
important.
it.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're not directly impacted, if you just see it, if you're a cis white dude and you see your mates talking smack, pull
them up.
Pull them up. Yeah.
It ain't hard.
No, that's how change happens.
That's it.
Do it.
All right,
we solved it. That's done.
All right, you're listening to Z Games. My name is Ezie, and I'm hanging out in studio with
Toby
and
Elliott.
And I believe Elliott has his first time review.
Oh my god, it's exciting.
It is exciting.
It's exciting.
It's exciting.
All right.
And it's an awesome game.
It is an amazing game. All right.
Wicked game.
I'm going to give you the space. You can do this.
Oh my god. All right. Okay. So, fight and die honorably, or do whatever it takes to survive and save your people. This is the question Jin Sakai needs to find the answer to in Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut. He's alone against an entire force of Mongol invaders in his home of Tsushima. The leader of the Mongol horde, Khotun Khan, is ruthless, cruel, and intelligent. He's learned the ways of the samurai, and he knows how he can manipulate the code of honor in order to win. As one of the last surviving samurai, it is Jin's job to fight off the army and defeat Khotun Khan, all while trying to balance his code and the desperate need for survival. This game strikes hard and fast. The feelings of desperation and hopelessness that hit you almost immediately are staggering, and what follows is a whirlwind of emotion. Each supporting character has their own complex backstories and moral dilemmas. I found that nothing is in black and white. There's so much grey here, I don't even need to turn on Kurosawa mode. Sometimes I barely want to help out my friends after what they've done in the past, and sometimes I'm so full of empathy for what they've had to get through, go through everything. I think that's the biggest theme in this game, the grey. Is what you've done to save your people really okay? Really necessary? Or are you just as bad as the Mongols? The Director's Cut adds two major features to this game. Kurosawa mode, which I mentioned earlier, changes the game to a dramatic grayscale, mimicking old Kurosawa films to make this game look even more dramatic. Then we get the Iki Island expansion, which, if you're going to 100%, should roughly take you about 10 hours. So, if I'm completely honest, if you've already sunk a huge amount of time into this game, you're not really missing out on much. Starting out playing this game, I was reminded pretty heavily of the more recent line of Assassin's Creed games. The feel of running around was almost identical for me, which was really jarring when I went to climb up things and found that I couldn't, or when I jumped off things and realised there was a much lower threshold for fall damage. After some time with the game, it felt pretty natural, and I definitely prefer the limitations it sets because it forces you to be aware of your environment a little more. Speaking of, the environment is stunning. Ghost of Tsushima goes for realism with its visuals, and there's a constant movement that makes the world feel alive. The changing weather patterns and time and the wildlife everywhere is incredible. What's interesting is they've taken the environment here and turned it into a tool, guiding you to points of interest. There's no mini-map or compass, you just follow the wind to your next destination. And if you spot a golden bird or a flashing firefly, I do recommend following their lead. One little thing I've noticed with the change of environment is that every so often things won't line up quite right. Shadows might not line up correctly in cutscenes, highlighting characters weirdly, or a great big thunderclap will hit really close by as the sun rises behind you. It doesn't happen often, but it's enough to be noticeable. Yeah. Something I never complain about, though, is the combat. There is such satisfaction in timing your parries perfectly, or fighting like a half a dozen different enemies, and then switching stances at just the right moment for each one. I played on hard, and every time I died, it was my fault for screwing something up, and I knew it. I never had the excuse of blaming the game, because it was done brilliantly. So the music was composed by Ilan Eshkeri and Shigeru Umebayashi. Forgive me if I butchered that. It hit all the right notes in the right places. There's so much emotion through the story, from the intensity of the very first battle. It was accompanied by such frantic music that you just couldn't help feel the desperation. Then there was the slow and somber experiences as Jin deals with his grief and loss. It was so artfully placed, I barely even consciously registered its existence the first time around. The sounds that surround you in your environment while travelling around are just as impressive. The wildlife, the storms, the wind, your feet hitting the grass and the dirt as you run or sneak into enemy encampments. The towns you pass through feel alive with people chatting and working. It's really immersive. All in all, Ghost of Tsushima is a cinematic experience even without using the features of the director's cut. The scenery is gorgeous, the music is used to enhance the mood, and is done artfully. And the story is incredibly engaging. I didn't expect myself to be as obsessed with this game as I was, and I almost regret not playing it until now. But I feel blessed that I was able to play the director's cut on PS5 for my first time. Although there were some small parts that were frustrating or a little hard to grasp starting out, Ghost of Tsushima was a truly gorgeous experience that hit me a lot harder than I was expecting. In my opinion, they did a phenomenal job.
Huh. Damn, that sold me. I don't know about Holy.
And for those still debating, you get to pat foxes too.
Yeah, that was great.
And the foxes, when they want you to pat them, they tippy tap at you.
It's very cute.
It's very cute.
Oh, yeah, I've seen GIFs of that. That's pretty good.
Don't you mean GIFs?
GIFs, sorry, GIFs. Whatever.
The multiplayer is also really good. If you do want to get into the multiplayer, I do recommend doing it anytime. Don't think you have to finish the game before you start playing the multiplayer.
It's different. I actually found that playing the story for so long, I was at a bit of a loss, because I tried to heal myself the same way, and it just didn't work. And something cool I found, I had somebody ditch my game as soon as we entered, and I wasn't kicked out.
Yep.
You can play it by yourself.
Yeah, I remember you telling me this. You're like, I can still keep going.
Yeah.
See ya.
And it's not hard either.
It gets...
Or maybe...
Toby's like, I don't know about you, man.
Look, I must admit, I played the game on medium, and I did get prompted occasionally. It's like, do you want to make this easy?
Oh, I'd got that a lot during boss battles, yeah.
You prompted yourself.
I think it's about the 5th or 6th time that you get completely wiped by some boss. It goes, are you sure?
Do you want to restart? Do you want to not do this mission?
Yeah.
I loved it. But yeah, no, I'm a huge fan of the game as well.
Yeah, it's a pretty classic open world exploratory sort of RPG, but it does it really well.
You'll have to lend it to me, because so many people have just raised.
And it hits the emotional.
Oh yeah,
things.
man.
Right. All the feels.
I did not expect to cry, and I did.
So, what platforms can you play Ghosts on?
PS4, PS5. It is an exclusive.
There you go. All right, peeps. That's all you got.
Yeah.
You're listening to Zed Games. My name is Ezie. I'm hanging out in studio with
Toby.
Elliott.
Woohoo!
We did it backwards that time.
Yeah,
did we
mixing
get
it up. You're actually tuning in at a really great time, because we're actually wrapping up very soon.
Hey.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
What? Why is that a great time?
Because, it's unfortunate for people tuning in. And that's ironic and funny.
Oh. But we still love you.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Come back next week. We'll be here.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for texting in and sharing your thoughts on, Activision and what's been going on in the industry as well. All the power to you. Don't forget to speak up if, you see something, And also when you're playing games, report people, damn it.
Look, it's all in your hands, guys.
Yeah, we've got the power. We're the consumers.
Every little bit helps.
Yeah, that's right. But Zed Games is we're all about supporting indie development and the gaming community and giving voice to people in the industry. So you can always message us if you've got something to say, you'd like to share something. You can message us on Facebook at ZedGamesAU, where it should say on our Facebook we're very responsive. So we will respond to you. We always like to hear what you've got to say, and if there's games that you're playing, want to have a chat, or you want to share something with us, be sure to do that at ZedGamesAU. Alternatively, you could message us live at 4ZZZ on 0420 626 733. That's us. But I got plenty of there's also great gaming memes on our Facebook page, which I mention all the time.
Memes.
Yeah, I know.
That's
being modest.
That's what drew me in, honestly.
That's what drew you in.
That's why we're friends.
Yeah, correct.
That's the only reason.
Actually, how did you feel you went with your review today? You felt good?
I forgot to breathe.
Yeah. But it was a brilliant execution, so you should be very proud of yourself.
Pat myself on the back.
Yeah, you pat yourself on the back. On that note, we're actually going to start wrapping up now. I'm going to leave us on a song here. This one is Xbox All Access, All for One. It's all there, I swear, which is a little bit of an advertisement for Xbox, but it's so good, so I have to share it. Thank you all for tuning in, and I hope you have a lovely day, night, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. On that note, we'll see you guys later. Bye.
Jinx, bye.
Thanks
Bye.
for listening to Zed Games.
If you'd like to listen to more, check out our podcast on Spotify.
Or follow us on social media at ZedGamesAU.
See you next time.